Kirby Air Ride fans, our time has finally come. We waited 22 years for a new game. There are literally people in my audience who were born, graduated high school, graduated college, got married, and had kids in the time between Kirby Air Ride and Kirby Air Riders coming out for Nintendo Switch 2 later this year. But we are finally here. A new Kirby Air Ride game is upon us. And so because this game got announced, I figured it is finally time for me to sit down and share my thoughts that I have been brewing up for the past 22 years on what I think we should see in a new Kirby Air Ride game. Let's jump right into it. So let's start off with the single most obvious thing that I need out of Kirby Air Riders. If Kirby Air Riders does not have this mode, I don't think they should be able to call this game Kirby Air Riders. This mode is so integral to what made Kirby Air Ride so good back in the day. If this game does not have some new variation of this mode, or just straight up this mode online, I'm going to be honest, all of my hype for this game will completely die down. Kirby Air Riders currently is probably my single most anticipated game of the year. But if we do not have city trial mode in Kirby Air Riders, again, I do not think they should be able to call this game Kirby Air Riders. City Trial, for those of you that never played the original Kirby Air Ride, is essentially this mode where you and your friends are thrown in this open city and you drive around grabbing different collectibles and different power-ups. Sometimes bosses descend from the sky. Sometimes meteors drop on the city. Sometimes you guys are forced to fight each other. It is hands down the single best mode in the original Kirby Air Ride, and probably the single mode in any GameCube game that I spent the most amount of time playing as a kid. Me and my friends would boot up City Trial and literally play for hours on end. I know this is probably blasphemous as somebody who does Smash Brothers reactions on the channel, but I honestly feel like if you tallied up all of my playtime with all the games on GameCube, I probably spent more time playing City Trial and Air Ride than I did playing Super Smash Brothers Melee. That is saying something. You guys who are fans of my channel know how much I love Smash Brothers, but Kirby Air Ride City Trial is just that good. And for those of you that are fans of Smash that never played Kirby Air Ride, I do think it's important to note that Smash Run in Smash Brothers for the 3DS literally would not have existed without City Trial. That is straight up City Trial put into a Smash Brothers game, and that's a huge reason why I still to this day like the 3DS version of Smash 4 more than the Wii U version. I literally sold my Wii U, and I sold my Wii U copy of Smash Brothers, but I still play Smash Run in 3DS to this day because I just crave something that is similar to City Trial. And honestly, even at its best, Smash Run still doesn't really manage to capture the frantic gameplay variety that we've all come to know and love from Air Ride City Trial mode over the years. The fact that 1 minute you could be exploring, grabbing all these power-ups, only to then have Tak the Thief show up, grab all the power-ups from you, you chase down Tak the Thief, and then after defeating him, having one of your friends swoop in and grab all the power-ups after he explodes, there's nothing quite like it, and I honestly cannot wait for a new generation to experience the fun and the franticness of City Trial. Now, I've been gushing about how much I love City Trial in the original Kirby Air Ride for GameCube, but you have to remember, this mode back in the day was only 4-player and was only playable locally. Yes, the GameCube did have a modem. Yes, you could play certain games online like PSO. Kirby Air Ride was not one of the games that took advantage of that. Now, in 2025, we'll be able to play City Trial online, and knowing Sakurai, there's no way he's going to pass up that opportunity. And taking it one step further, like I just mentioned, the original City Trial mode was only 4 players. We're now living in the era of 8-player Smash Brothers and games like Fortnite where you've got 100 people thrown onto a map. I think it would be really fun if there was some type of mode for City Trial that was like a Battle Royale elimination mode, because back in the day when you played City Trial, if your Warp Star gets destroyed during the match, you can still climb on to a different air ride. But I think having some type of elimination mode where your Warp Star gets destroyed and then you're out of there could be really fun. But before we dive into more of my ideas on how they could improve and evolve City Trial mode for Kirby Air Riders, I want to take this opportunity to shout out my sponsor for today's video, FlexiSpot. Now, I was fortunate enough to actually get sent one of FlexiSpot's Lotus recliners for review, and based off the photos alone, I knew it was going to be comfortable, but I didn't know just how comfortable it was going to be until I set it up and sat in it myself. And by the way, setup took no time at all. With its spacious 64-inch seat and 32-inch armrest width, the recliner is as comfortable as sitting on one of Kirby's clouds, no matter which position you like to relax in, whether upright, sideways, or even sitting with crossed legs. It is the perfect excuse for getting in your daily dose of relaxation, whether you like to read, watch TV, or play your favorite video games. And it's even got a concealed storage space so your favorite choice of entertainment is always close at hand. Its flexible swivel and back and forth rocking mechanism offers the ultimate in comfort and will help you release stress like a warm embrace from King Dedede himself. And of course, for those extra difficult days where work seems like a nightmare that's never going to end, there's no better way to recharge your warp stars than by taking a trip to Dreamland and napping in the Lotus with all its effortless reclining glory. Simply extend your legs, recline, and let your troubles wash away. Roger, we're still in the middle of the ad read. You got to get up, buddy.
Affirmative, General.
I've only had the recliner for about a week and a half, but already it's become an integral part of my home and my go-to way to unwind after a long day of streaming and recording. This chair comes with a variety of additional features too that you can check out by clicking the link below and the link in my pinned comment. Plus, don't miss out on FlexiSpot's Brand Day sale that's happening on May 25th. You can use my exclusive code LOTUS30 to get $30 off and free shipping. Thank you once again to FlexiSpot for sponsoring today's video and sending over what has now become my favorite seat in the house. Seriously, buddy, you gotta get up. We got a lot more to talk about still. So I've talked already about the potential for city trial online in Kirby Air Riders. I've talked already about the fact that the first city trial was only limited to 4 players and that maybe we could end up seeing 8-player city trial this time around, or even some type of battle royale mode where you've got like 100 Kirbys and everyone gets eliminated the second your air ride gets destroyed. But there is one other thing I would really love to see out of city trial this time around, and that is multiple maps. Now don't get me wrong, I loved the original city trial map. I liked all the different variety in the environment, from the volcano area to that 3-tiered platform where you could glide off the top of it to go to the other side of the city. I liked having all the skyscrapers in the middle and that underground area, but no matter how many times you randomize the events and no matter how many times you randomize the location of the power-ups, it still is the same general layout for that map. Now obviously this is Sakurai we're talking about. He always goes out of his way to pack his games with content, and he certainly has a lot more development time with this version of Air Ride than he did with the original game. So I do totally expect that we'll get at least 2 maps, one that's a brand new city trial map and one that's probably like a redo or remake or remaster of the original traditional map. But this is a wishlist video and this is Sakurai we're talking about, so I feel like now is a great time to bring up 3 different ideas that I've had for city trial maps over the course of the last 22 years. One in particular I think that would be really fun is some type of close quarters, very compact city trial map where you still have all the racers in there, but it's significantly smaller than the map that we know and love, and you're just constantly running into each other, so that when those big, frantic, random events happen, there's no doubt that you're gonna run into another person while that event is going on. Now, on the opposite side of the spectrum, I also think it would be really cool to have a super huge open air, maybe like wilderness town themed area. Imagine something along the lines of like Grizzly Peak from Disneyland California Adventure, or something along the lines of the town of Twin Peaks from the TV show, right? Where you've got all these cool wilderness lodges built on these mountains. You can go through the mountains, the tunnels in the mountains. You can go to the top of the mountain and glide to the other side of the map. You've got this giant forested area in the middle with enemies that can attack you. I just think the idea of some type of cool open air twist on city trial would be really neat. And last but certainly not least, I think it would be really cool to have some type of city trial map that's like a city in the clouds, where the whole theming of this map is based around gliding. Obviously, gliding is such a massive mechanic in Kirby Air Ride that I think it'd be really cool to have a city trial map built around it, where you're constantly flying from one cloud to the other. Each of these clouds have their own unique little themed cities, maybe built out of clouds. You've got classic Kirby enemies. Maybe you've got Krako as one of the random enemies that's flying around the sky that's shooting thunderbolts down at you. I think there's a lot of cool possibilities for having one that's based in the sky. And those would be my big 3 choices. But again, this is Sakurai we're talking about. I have no doubt that that if he ends up doing multiple city trial maps, I'm gonna love every single one of them. Now, I know I've talked about city trial a lot today, but there is one more city trial related thing that I'd really like to see for Kirby Air Riders, and this is a very minor gripe, but it is something that stuck with me ever since I was a kid playing the original Kirby Air Ride, and that is the walking speed of Kirby in city trial mode. Basically, for anyone who's played the game, when you get knocked off your air ride machine, Kirby has to walk around the map to get to another air ride to continue playing. The walking speed at which Kirby walked in that original mode is so molasses-like slow. I just want to see him boost it up a little bit, where he at least feels like the Kirby that you know and love from the regular Kirby games. Just boost up his walking speed a tiny little bit. Please and thank you. So moving away from city trial mode, now I want to talk about things that I would like to see in terms of air ride machines and characters in the game. Now, first and foremost, I think we've already seen some of the classic air ride machines confirmed in that original trailer. I believe we already saw off the top of my head the Wing Star and the Wagon Star in that reveal trailer, but I really want to see the Swerve Star come back. Sakurai, if you're watching, the Swerve Star was hands down the machine I would use more often than not. And for those of you that remember the original game, this is the machine that was basically like the little diamond that looks like a little pyramid, and you could hold down the button and swerve to the other side and then shoot forward. It was so great in terms of mobility. It was my go-to whenever I was playing city trial mode, and I really do want to see that one come back. I also have no doubt that King Dedede and Meta are going to come back, but remember, in that original game, those characters were actually classified as other air ride machines, and I think that was a little bit of a problem with the original game. We mostly just had a bunch of differently colored Kirbys, and then Meta Knight and Dedede, who were relegated to their air ride machines. You couldn't use them on some of your other favorite machines. So what I would really love to see in Kirby Air Riders is for Meta Knight and King Dedede to be separate characters in the same way that Kirby is, and to bring in some more of those classic Kirby characters that people have been wanting to see in this type of game. I'm talking Adeline from Kirby 64 or Ribbon from Kirby 64. I think it'd be really cool. I'd love to see all the animal buddies from Kirby's Dream Land 3, Rick and Koo. Gooey, I think, would also be super funny as well. Or like, is Kane the fish? I think it would just be super fun. We're already seeing dolphins in Mario Kart World. Throw Kane the fish on the back of an air ride machine. I think Susie from Planet Robobot with some type of robot-themed mech air ride machine could be really cool. I'd like to see Elphalin from Forgotten Land as well in there, and maybe like a Fecto version of Elphalin once you're actually fully powered up or you're riding on the Dragoon. There's so many possibilities for characters, but of course, the one I want to see above everybody else, we already have Meta Knight, we already have Dedede, we already have Kirby. We need my man Bandanity. Please, Bandanity for Kirby Air Riders. Please, Sakurai. And two other characters that I just thought of that I would also really like to see as playable racers. I think Chef Kawasaki would be super funny, especially if there was also some type of gourmet-themed air ride machine, something where maybe you're like on a frying pan and you're flying around the stage, throwing sauces all over the place. That could be kind of cool. The other one I would really like to see, this is a total pipe dream. I don't think there's any chance of this happening, but again, this is a wish list video, so I'm saying this. I want to see Escargoon. I want to see King Dedede's right-hand man from the Kirby Right Back At Ya anime that came out around the time of the original Air Ride. I just recently watched Sakurai's game concept video about the development of the original Air Ride, and he mentioned in that video about how Air Ride came out around the same time that Kirby Right Back At You was originally airing, and at the time he was like the supervisor of the entire Kirby franchise. I think that would be an awesome throwback to put Escargoon in a Kirby video game and specifically throw him in Kirby Air Riders. Imagine just racing on the back of the Swerve Star with Escargoon. I need to see it happen, or walking around like, imagine you get knocked off your air ride machine in City Trial and then you have to slowly just slug your way over to another air ride machine. It'd be so funny. Make it happen, Sakurai. And having all these new air ride machines and all these new racers and multiple city trial maps, I think would all make for awesome rewards for the return of the checklist wall. Many of you probably already know this if you're watching this video, but the checklist wall in Kirby Air Ride is literally what set the stage for the challenge wall in Brawl and Smash 4 and Smash Ultimate. Those would not exist without the original checklist wall from Kirby Air Ride. And at the time, I remember thinking it was such a a cool idea to actually be able to see everything and all the different criteria to unlock other things within the game, and it just added so much replayability to the game and allowed me to try out all these other modes that I probably never would have touched. I never really played the top-down mode, but I did when I knew it would unlock things from the checklist wall. And same thing with the regular racing. Again, most of my time was spent in City Trial, but I purposely went through all those races and did everything to 100% the checklist wall just because I wanted to see what else those things would unlock. And actually, since we're talking about unlockables in the checklist wall, one thing that I think would make a really cool final unlockable would be one single guest character, and that is specifically Pit from Kid Icarus. Obviously, Sakurai is known for having revived the Kid Icarus franchise. Us Kid Icarus fans are starving for new content. I think throwing Pit in there with some type of Kid Icarus themed air ride machine would make for a really incredible final unlockable. And maybe even like a City Trial map inside of Palutena's temple would be cool too. So I've talked about City Trial, I've talked about the new characters I want to see, I've talked about the return of the checklist wall. There is one other major thing that when I think about the original Kirby Air Ride, I always think of this specific aspect of it, and that is the music. I need Kirby Air Riders to have an absolutely amazing soundtrack on the level of that original Kirby Air Ride game. Everything from City Trial, the to all of those amazing songs that would play when you get the Dragoon, like so many iconic Kirby tracks originated from Kirby Air Ride. So not only do I need to hear all that music come back, but I need to hear new orchestrated songs in this game, either for new City Trial maps or for the regular Grand Prix modes. I have no doubt that Sakurai is going to go above and beyond to have a really great soundtrack in this game, but I just wanted to make sure to put it here because, again, the music of Kirby Air Ride is a big reason why that game has so much staying power in my brain. But I think that's going to do it for me today, so now I want to throw the question back at all of you. What do you want to see in Kirby Air Riders? What is something that you've been waiting 22 years for? Make sure to put it in the comments down below, and hopefully Sakurai will end up seeing this before it's released. Thank you once again, everybody, for watching today's video. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Nakama!